Well, it's finally been announced, Port fans. Co Captaincy for 2019. Tom Jonas and Ollie Wines will be captaining Port Adelaide this season and, well, forever, how long they choose to. But Co Captaincy for the first time in the history of the Port Adelaide Football Club, with Ollie Wines and Tom Jonas, will remain in numbers 42 and 16. Yeah, look, we'll skip all the intro, and we all know the inevitable that's happened. This is a big ballsy decision by the club, by Koshi, KT, Kenny, and the board to all approve this. The playing group has put forward their, well, an honestly positive push for this from the playing group. They've pretty much really supported this concept, and you know, it's one of those things where fans are very much, well, I think about 95% of you all are very much against it, and I understand that, completely understand. You know, you've got tradition, you've got values, what Port Adelaide stand for, always having the one leader and one captain wearing the number one. It's a tradition. And what I want to do today is sort of, you know, react to that, react to your reactions a little bit. I put a poll out on Instagram to, you know, so get a feel of how everyone's feeling. I did post on Twitter and Facebook about how some of the reactions from fans were pretty much over the top. They were very emotionally charged. They pushed a lot of negative feedback towards this. I completely understand, and I got a lot of shit for this online. I completely understand everyone's anger. I completely understand why you'd feel angry. And a lot of traditionalists will hate this. A lot of ex-players, captains, you know, they'll look at this and think, what the hell is going on? You know, it's something I don't agree with. You know, just to go into how I feel, I don't agree with it. I still feel there's one man for the job at Port Adelaide. You know, if you want it to be safe, go with Ollie Wines. You know, he has a great support base with Tom Jonas. We'll have Hamish Hartlett, which is, by the way, that is the leadership group. Tom Jonas, Ollie Wines, Hamish Hartlett. 3 people in the leadership group, Hamish Hartlett being the vice-captain, and then 2 co-captains with Ollie and Tom. And yeah, I think that would have been perfect. You know, have the one leader wearing the number 1 and share the duties that way. Having the name or the title of co-captains is just not as appealing to some people. I've read a lot of positive comments about it too, you know, saying this is the modern era. They're not as phased about it. This isn't something that we're going to look too dissatisfied with, and all that, you know, positive feedback. And I think the way the club is directing itself now is basically, it's adjusting to the modern era. They're basing this on the environment of modern AFL. Sydney have done it for quite a while now. You know, they've had 2 or 3 co-captains, a couple of other teams that have co-captains as well. And, you know, I think what they want to do now, and there was a very strong quote in the article that the Port sent out, which was, I think from Koshi, and he said, tradition is very important to us, but not as important as winning games of football. So they very much believe that co-captains will bring success to the football club. Now, this is where every single member has a right to challenge this and question the decision. Does 2 leaders or 2 co-captains have any effect on us winning a game of football? I suppose the good thing would be that, you know, having 2 leaders on the ground, one would be in defence. You know, got Ollie roaming around in midfield, so he's able to dictate a little bit more and keep a strong structure, whereas Jonas is, you know, he's sitting back there and he can watch from behind and really help out, direct people from off the play, if you know what I mean. So Ollie's more the on-the-ball type director and leader, whereas Jonas would be watching from afar. So sort of that guidance factor. And I really did like another quote that was from that article where Tom Jonas and Ollie Wines are 4 years apart in age group, which in, you know, everyday terms is not a lot. They're still in that bracket of young, talented players. But in terms of football, 4 years is like a 40-year distance. You know, Ollie Wines is coming into his prime. and Tom Jonas is sort of going out of that prime period. He's 28 and Ollie's 24. So maybe now that can have some kind of effect of gelling the playing group even more, having a young voice and an elder voice, and really gelling the group. And I did like that. I really thought that sort of opened my eyes a bit, and I thought maybe that would be that's a good concept and a good reason to have co-captains. I know a lot of you guys have very strong opinions on co-captaincy. I read a lot of the reactions, which I'll show up now. They were, very much passionate, strong answers, and very much a lot of against arguments, a lot of for arguments. There's not a lot more you can take from it. We now have to live with this proposition from the football club having 2 co-captains direct us in a way, and now I just think, having that idea, this is a new era for the football club. A lot of players, we weren't expecting this. What I did find interesting though was the leadership group itself is only 3 people. We had, I think, 8 last year, 7 or 8 players. And they've really stripped that back. And I think that comes under a little bit of scrutiny. Kane Corns did mention that last year, that players and clubs, there doesn't need to be, massive leadership groups. And Port Adelaide have stripped it back. They've kept it simple. 2 co-captains, 1 vice-captain. The title people could have been 1 co-captain, 2 vice-captains, or just having 3 or 4 in the leadership group. Did notice, obviously, no Travis Boak in the leadership group, so he's been stripped of all leadership titles. Obviously, he'll be a strong leader on field and very much a idol for some of the younger players and how to work and developing your football that way and being a real mentor, which is fantastic. And I think a lot of the players did have a lot of expectations on them last year, so really simplifying the leadership roles will help players develop their own game, but also be able to develop themselves more as a leader. And I'm very comfortable with that because we've seen in the past, Hamish Hartlett has very much improved his leadership qualities from a couple of years ago when he was made the sole vice-captain. A lot of people didn't like that, and his form was dropping off, and he really didn't perform, and Boak was sort of doing it on his own. Whereas now Hamish has had that time where he's had the ACL, he's been a real player that has developed a leadership quality where he's a people person. He's he's a very much loved character around the football club, and speaking from experience with him, he's a very generous person with his time, and I think that's fantastic. As is Tom Jonas and Ollie Wines. It's just now the expectation of being co-captains of the Port Adelaide Football Club. Tradition, obviously, is affected. There's a lot of other traditions we stick by at the Port Adelaide Football Club, but none other than winning premierships and being the most successful team in Australian rules football. It is now up to the co-captains, the 22 players on the field every single week, to now prove to us members that they are a genuine force. This co-captaincy idea is a winning factor, and you know what? I think us members will very much be a happy camp if at the end of the year we're sitting 3rd, 4th, 2nd, 6th, winning a couple of finals and going into 2020 in our 150th year saying, you know what? I like this. I can see us doing some damage in future years. It's up to everyone now at the football club, Kenny, KT, Goshi. They have a big opportunity now to prove to us members that we have a right and that their idea of co-captaincy is a successful one. Because I know a lot of members will be thinking, well, now this is horrible. I don't like this. This is not tradition. This is not Port Adelaide. I saw a few comments saying we're a franchise now. Get that out of your head. I think this is just a farce of the amount of emotional comments that have been made. And I reckon a couple of weeks' time, when JLT comes around, people will be thinking, you know what, it's okay. I'm all right. Still going to support this football club, as will I. This won't affect my day-to-day basis. I mean, it does make me angry, and it does, well, I don't think angry is the right word. I think it's more, I understand fans saying, well, why aren't we being listened to? And I very much will say that I reckon the club would have taken everything into consideration to make this decision. And as I said before, it is a ballsy decision. Koshi, KT and Kenny have balls to make this decision. So all we can do now is support them, and hopefully it pays off at the end of the year. If it doesn't, then they should be held accountable, which they will. Thank you very much for watching this little update, little discussion about the Co Captaincy and the leadership group for 2019. Now all we have to do is focus about football and on-field performances. JLT starts next week. Then the season starts round 1, March 23rd at the MCG against Melbourne. So let's hope, fingers crossed, that this pays off and Port Adelaide are a successful team in 2019. Thank you very much for watching, Port fans. My name is Anthony, and as always, calm the pair.